Hello, beautiful souls. I am trying to get this going and I just want to verify that I am live. So I'm going to check on my computer as well. All right, so we are day 2 in our Inspire event. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. I see it. And hold on one second. Tech skills. We're working on our tech skills. Oops. Hold on. I'm not sure that worked. Here we go. Okay. So day one was yesterday. We talked about connecting with our desires, and because we can't feel inspired if we're not connected to something. If you don't see the amazing outcome that will come from you doing something, then you're just going to go about in a uninspired way. You're just going to be on autopilot, doing what you have to do in order to get the day done. And you're not really progressing forward. You're not growing. You're not expanding yourself. And so that is why, we went through yesterday getting really connected with what we want, going through and making that 50 plus list, and starting to what are those top 5 things in the experience be to have by the end of the year, right? And it can enhance and connect you in exactly where you are right now, right? This is a self-discovery venture. This is personal growth. This is you growing and moving forward. So it's really important to connect with what it is that you really want, right? And what your dreams, goals, desires are. And because it's going to look different for everybody, and coming to those things without any judgment. So yeah, and a lot of times you may not share these things with anybody else because people are going to have comments, have suggestions, or judgment about the things that you want. Oh, why do you want that car? That's really expensive. Isn't the one you have good enough? Oh, you think you're better than us because you want this house, or or they might have really positive judgments. They might have really positive reflections. So just be aware of who you share these dreams, these ideas with, right? Because we don't want to allow other people's ideas or thoughts to, right? So I'm Kelly Lepar. I am a mindset and manifestation coach. My passion is in helping you to live your best life, for you to find success in all of the areas that you desire. Professional, personal, spiritual, wherever you want to grow, I want you to have the best of all of it. And you absolutely can. And that where that starts is right here in your mind. You have the most powerful tool at your access, and how to utilize it. And we are too busy just running on autopilot and not realizing and tapping into that power that we have within us. And we are unaware of the conversations that we are having with ourselves, and the emotions that we find ourselves experiencing, and we allow those to be attached to stories, and we create something out of something that doesn't need to necessarily be there. So my passion is in helping you to discover the power within yourself, to let go of all of the garbage, all of the programming that we have collected our entire lives, and that is no longer serving us, and to create and tap into the freedom that you absolutely have to create the life that you have always dreamed of. And maybe you haven't like necessarily tapped into the dreaming part, because I talk to so many people that stopped dreaming a long time ago because things just didn't happen. They didn't believe it was possible, or, like it just didn't happen. And so they just stopped dreaming and just started living on autopilot. That's no place to create from. So I am so happy that you are here. If you are catching day 2, stick with me here, but absolutely go back and watch the replay of day 1, because day 1 and day 2 are absolutely imperative to put together for you to move forward, to you to be inspired and to step into your power and to create the life that you love, that you dream of, and to receive the success and in all the different areas that you desire. So day 2, a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Make sure that you commit fully to being here, and just mute the distractions. I know we're on Facebook, so I had to close my computer because I was getting so many alerts from some of the chats that I'm in. Like, don't let yourself be distracted. Commit yourself to having this time for yourself to grow, to really discover more about yourself, and to expand beyond where you are. Okay, so first of all, you are absolutely amazing. You are exactly in the place that you are meant to be right now, and you will get where you want to go. But you need to just be aware you're already perfect. You're like the most amazing individual that has ever been created. You are a beautiful spiritual being having a physical experience in this physical body. And the two, you are witnessing your emotions, you are witnessing your thoughts, you are witnessing your experiences in the world around you, right? And so we have to just recognize that we are these spiritual beings that are connected to infinite intelligence, to source, to God, to the universe, to each other. We are all connected. You already have everything that you need to be, do, have, and experience everything that you want. We all come in and have our individual experiences based on who we were raised by, the environments that we were in, the time that we were raised, right? Like, these are all influences on our programming. And just like a computer, right? They're programmed and they run off of the programs. They can't go beyond or outside of the programs that they've been established with. Well, the same goes for us. And in order to, you are having all the experiences, you are having all the challenges, you are having all of the wins and everything based on the programs that you have running in the background of your mind unconsciously, right? And so in order to experience something more, in order to experience something new and different and expand beyond where you are now, we have to update the programming. You have to grow, right? And you've been doing an amazing job growing and experiencing and everything, but now we get to shift it to being on purpose, right? And having some guidance on how to do that. So first, we've established that you already are perfect. You are an amazing spiritual being having a amazing experience in your physical body, witnessing your emotions and your thoughts and the experiences around you. None of these things are you. right? They are things that you are experiencing. You know, I say, this is my hand, right? My elbow, my eye, right? All of these are pieces of things that I am collectively like experiencing through, right? But they do not make up the whole of me, right? So it's a spiritual, physical, emotional, like the whole gamut is what we're connecting with here. So in order to move beyond where we are now, we first have to recognize, what do I believe about myself, right? Because it is set in our beliefs about ourselves, what is possible for you. And the beliefs that we have about ourselves have been created by others, right? None of them we really chose. We, had spiritual leaders when you were raised, right? Which determined what faith, what belief system you run off of. And you have money, like financial beliefs, like people that were raised in a poverty lifestyle, that's what they believe to be true for them. Oh, we're poor. Oh, life's really hard. There's never enough money. Like those kind of things run on autopilot, right? And that expands out into the life that they experience. Whereas someone that is raised in abundance, like the Rockefellers or Trump's kids or whoever, then they are raised in a completely different environment. Like money comes easily. It's always there in abundance. They have freedom to do whatever they want. They can spend money on whatever they want. They don't have to think about it, right? Like there's a different like understanding from where they're running off of. But if they had been born into a different space, then they would have a different understanding of life. That program would be different. Okay, so I just want you to understand where your program is coming from. And it's not something, your beliefs is your programming, right? And it's not something that you chose. It was something that you received from others around you, right? So maybe you failed a test. Like I remember I was in 5th grade and I got my first F on a spelling test. And it cemented in me that I was bad at spelling and that I was a failure. It was very traumatic to me. And so I had this immediate emotional impact that created this belief about myself. And it's something that I have lived with and experienced continually throughout my life. And so now that I'm aware of that belief, and I've worked on shifting this over time, right? But once we become aware of what a belief is that we have that is not serving us, then we have the choice to change it, right? We have the ability to shift it. So beliefs, they dictate how we feel about ourselves, how we show up, and what space or level we allow ourselves to expand into. So let's just say, for instance, maybe you have been at the same income level for the last, 4 or 5 years. Maybe you have reached a certain level and it doesn't matter how many side jobs you add in, how many more hours you work, you just always at the end of the year, you are stuck at this amount. And you're like, what gives? I'm doing all the extra. I'm working really hard. I'm adding in all these jobs and nothing is really shifting, right? Maybe it goes up a little bit, but it's not like the dramatic, 100K, more a year quantum leap that we're looking for, right? Or 1 million or whatever, right? You're probably in this same range for quite some time. Well, that is because you have a belief around who you are, what you're worthy of, and what your abilities are, right? So in order to shift anything in our outside reality, we first have to go within. It is all about that self-development, that self-discovery. And a lot of this is, there's people that do this unconsciously, their unconscious competence. And then there's those of us that, it's not something that you do once. It's a continual growth. We are always growing and expanding outside of our current awareness, right? So it's not something that you do once and then you stop. You do it and then you continue. And so that is why, like reading a self-help book once, you might get inspired, or going to a conference, or going to a leadership retreat, like you get inspired and you get excited, but then like you get right back into the old habits, the old beliefs, because they are so strong. They have been there for a really long time that they draw you right back in, right? So we have to create new beliefs, new habits, new behaviors to expand out of where we are now. How do we do that? Well, it's all about that self-discovery journey. And so that is why I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, about some of the programs that I guide my clients through. But that is why the work that I guide clients through is so important, right? Having that roadmap of learning about who you are and where these beliefs came from and how to instill the new ones and how to think differently and connect with yourself differently is so important. So I will talk more about that tomorrow, but today it's all about education and just guiding you guys in this information, helping you to have some self-discoveries. So if you are here live, I would love to have you put #live in the comments. I love interacting with you in person. If you are here on the replay, put #replay and interact as if you are live. I would love to have you just type into the comments your ahas, things that you are wanting to receive and tap into the comments, because by repetition, by writing things down, that's why we take notes on things. It helps the information to sink in. So first, we have to connect with our beliefs about ourselves. So lots of people have, wanted to release weight, right? And so they go on a diet and then they change all these, habits, and maybe you're very successful and you release a bunch of weight. But then, you reach that goal weight, and then you start doing things, eating a certain way, stopping, and before you know it, the weight has come back on. Well, why is that? It's because the way we saw ourselves never really changed, right? The outside reflection shifted, but how we saw ourselves from the inside still reflected that self-judgment of, oh, you're not good enough. Look at those hips, look at the whatever, or the self-sabotage. And then the outside, it's the same for our physical body as it is for our outside world, reflects the conversations that are going on in here, right? So your bank account is going to reflect the conversation that's going on in here. The success in your business is going to reflect the conversation going on in here. Your what you receive from other people reflects the conversation going on in here. When I started studying this, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense now, because I would have things come around in my life and I'm like, where did this come from? I hadn't thought about this for years, but it was set into motion. It was running in the back offices of my mind, and it came into play into my physical world. So we want to get really aware of what we are thinking about ourselves, who we believe ourselves to be, right? So I want to ask you a question. What are some things that you would love to shift, either in your, like, we all have personal and we all have like professional things that would love to shift. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you would love to like just write it down and you can personal message me, that's fine too. But I would love to hear, what are some things that you would like to shift? Is it financial? Is it time freedom? Is it release some weight? More self-love? Better relationships, right? The key to all of that shifting is right here. Because a lot of times we don't feel that we're worthy of, you know, feeling good, of whatever, you know, more money, more abundance. I'll just talk about money because that's one that most everybody has challenges around. Is you know, if you were, let's just play for a second, if you were to, you know, go from where you are right now to being a millionaire, right? Would you go out and scream it at the top of the lungs, you know, and let everybody know, it's here, I'm a millionaire, like, or would you hide it? Right? Would you keep it close to you? Would there be judgment from others on you? You know, what are you going to do with that money? Oh, are they going to want handouts? Oh, you're going to show up differently now. I'm not worthy of this, right? Like, it became very apparent to me, in a lot of I grew up in a religious space, and some of the worship songs, you know, they speak about not being worthy. And I was like, oh, that was going on replay over and over and over in my consciousness. And so being worthy, feeling worthy is huge. And, you know, the space it was coming from, I'm sure was really good, but like what it like set up inside, you know, was not being worthy of all these different things, right? And so that's one that has had to shift in order to receive more love, more abundance, more freedom, more all these different things, right? So I want you to just become aware of like those internal conversations, right? What beliefs do you have about you that are holding you in this space? Where do you kind of go into like wanting to expand out, and then you hit this like fear space and then you get pulled back? Because that is where your growth is in this fear space, right? And if we keep holding on and acting and being and thinking in the same space as we have been, nothing's going to change, right? So it's learning more about who we are, where our beliefs are. And let's just say that you have this beautiful dream and you want to grow your influence, right? Because we all want to help others. I think mass majority of the human population wants to be of service, wants to help others, right? So you want to help others to, you know, through your service that you provide, which also allows you to receive, you know, something back by being of service. And I totally just lost my train of thought. There was that was going somewhere, but we're obviously meant to go somewhere else because that just went somewhere else. So we have to connect with those internal beliefs and what's holding us in the space that we're in. So if you are, oh, that was the space. Okay, so you're brought up to this space where you're like excited, but you're like scared and oh, I should branch out, I should do this, but then like you are pulled back by fear and doubt and worry, then that space is there for your growth, right? But there is some belief there's some judgment that you have about yourself that is pulling you back, right? And so until we shift that belief, that judgment about yourself, you're going to continue to be pulled back and you're never going to go beyond where you are. So put a 5 in the comments if this has ever happened to you. Have you like known that something was there for you? You were like, yes, that would be amazing. Like that intuition inside of you was like, this is where I'm going. This is what I want. And then something else like that voice inside was like, who do you think you are? You're not going to do that. Who's going to listen to you? You don't know what you're doing. You've never done this before. Or do you remember the last time you did this? Nothing, it didn't work. It's not meant for you, right? Like, and that pulls you back. So we have to change the conversation, but oftentimes we don't realize that conversation is going on, right? It's running on autopilot in the background because it has for a really long time. And so first, I want you to just become aware. We're gonna do what I call a 48-hour mind thought audit or thought cleanse. So you are going to just witness, be aware of the thoughts that are coming up, right? Because your thoughts are where everything is started. Your thoughts will, and the thoughts that you connect with, like literally, you have hundreds of thousands of thoughts every single day, and they're not necessarily yours. They're just floating around up here. And then there's ones that you like connect with. So I imagine thoughts is like clouds, right? And have you ever been out with kids and played like, oh, look at that cloud. It looks like a car. That one looks like a ship, or that one looks like a dragon, right? Like we create stories around the clouds, but we do the same thing. We create stories around the thoughts, right? We connect the thought with an emotion, right? It makes us feel a certain way, you know? Oh, the thought of being a millionaire. Oh my gosh. For some, that might be really empowering. For others, it might be like, it might just want you to draw in and hide, right? We all have our own experiences and our own programming that is going to influence what energy, right? Because your emotions are energy in motion. That is going to determine the energy that you're in, whether you go into action or come out of action, right? So your thoughts connect with your emotion, go into an action, which creates a result, which creates another thought, right? And it's a cycle. So in order to create any change, we have to be aware of what we're thinking, right? So for the next 48 hours, I am going to have you do a thought cleanse, right? Or a thought fast. That's what it's called, a thought fast. So you are just recognizing the thoughts, and if it is not taking you to love, joy, happiness, right? If it's not bringing you to this happy, joyful, high vibe emotion, then you are going to say cancel, cancel, delete, delete, and replace it, right? So maybe someone makes a comment on one of your posts and it brings you down to a negative space. It's like, oh, like it makes you feel down. Then you're going to cancel, cancel, delete, delete, and choose the opposite. Choose something that is going to bring you where you want to go, right? So let's say that, like you're having looking in the mirror. Ooh, this is a really good one. So you're looking in the mirror, and then all of a sudden you're like looking at yourself and you're like, oh, look at those wrinkles right there. Like you're looking really old. You can see all the wrinkles here. Your nose is too big. Oh, look, you have a blemish, like whatever it is. And like, are any of those bringing you love, joy, happiness? Probably not. So instead, why don't we do cancel, cancel, delete, delete, and let's look at how beautiful you are. Like, look how amazing you are. I love all your freckles. Look at your hair today. It is just radiant. The shape of your eyes is absolutely amazing, right? When we speak life, there's two truths. You are either speaking life or you are speaking death at any given moment. There's a positive and a negative, and you are speaking one or the other, either verbally or internally. And so I want you to become aware of the conversations that you're having in your mind and also that you are part of during the day. What are those thoughts, right? Because thoughts connect to an emotion, which connects to an action or an inaction, and which creates a result, and then it's a cycle. So in order to shift any of it, we have to shift how we're thinking, how we're looking at ourselves. So you're going to recognize a lot of beliefs that you have about yourself, right? And a lot of beliefs about money, and a lot of beliefs about abundance, and a lot of beliefs about health, and you're going to see how you've been seeing yourself. So let's just bring in the homework from yesterday, where we did our 50 plus list. Coming up with all the things that we would love. What are things that you would love to experience, be, do, have, like your ideal life, what are you dreaming of, right? So in order to receive and have any of those things, you need to be what we call a vibrational match, because everything is energy, right? These AirPods are vibrating at a certain level. This paper is vibrating at a certain level. Like it's all literally just energy, right? So our emotions hold an energy, our thoughts hold an energy, our voices, our words hold an energy. So we have to be a vibrational match for those things that we are wanting to receive. So if you are wanting to, let's just say that you would love to rent a yacht, a luxury yacht for your family to have a amazing Mediterranean vacation, then you need to be a vibrational match for that, right? You need to be someone that knows that they're worthy, that can already see herself on that yacht with her family, kids playing, like knowing that that's possible. Because if you're coming and saying, well, that would be too expensive and that's never going to happen, we don't have the time, like you are not a vibrational match. Like that reality is already possible. It's already here. But if we are like not functioning or believing and seeing ourselves and feeling ourselves in that space, it's never going to connect. It's never going to happen. So we have to become that vibrational match for that life, for the things that we desire. How do we do that? By starting to pay attention to the thoughts that you're having and learning to shift the energy, recognizing the emotions and the feelings that you're having. And lots of times we shove them down, but they're always going to come back up. They're always going to be activated. And when they become activated, lots of times we react, right? So it's like touching a hot stove. You react, right? But if we can come from a place of responding instead of reacting, you have your power back. You've tapped into your power, right? So by connecting, getting to know more of who you are the beliefs that you have about yourself, what you're thinking. And this all sounds really easy, and it can be, but it also takes a lot of awareness and practice, because we are so used to running on autopilot, and we may think that we're thinking of like we're big thinkers, but oftentimes we're just thinking the same things that we've been thinking for a really long time, and having the same thoughts and having the same conversations, and nothing really changes. You can tell by what is going on the outside what's really happening on the inside. And that's why this roadmap that I have, that I guide people through to your growth, to your connecting with that high vibe version of yourself that is aligning with all the things that you love, that is inspired and connected and tapped into her power. That is where things just become better and better and better, right? So the truth is that this personal growth journey is like how everything changes, how everything shifts, how you become that high vibe version of yourself to align with all of those things. And by learning more about who you are, recognizing the beliefs that you have about yourself and learning to shift those, right? That's going to change how you show up with your family, how you show up for yourself, your clients, with your spiritual connection with Source, with God, right? With universe. And it's going to determine where you go. You have like everything that you were desiring, everything on your 50 plus lists is already here for you. It's already in what Abraham Hicks calls the vortex. You've already activated it. It's here. It's ready for you. You just need to bring yourself up. You need to align yourself, become that vibrational match that says, I'm ready and I am open to receiving, right? Because I can't even tell you how many conversations I have with people that are like, yeah, I want this, right? But then the next second they're saying, oh, I can't have it because it's too expensive, or it's not the right time, I've got to wait, blah, 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 right? Like we have all of these beliefs, and those beliefs are running on autopilot. And in order to shift, like your beliefs are your truth. And if you want your truth, your reality to change, you need to shift your beliefs about yourself. And that's what this whole process of what I guide my clients through does. The growth in like all the spaces in their life, in their relationships, in their connection with Source, in their connection with themselves, in their businesses, it all is interconnected. And so if you desire to go deeper into this work, then I would love for you to join me tomorrow for a special VIP day where I am going to talk specifically about some of the programs that I guide people through and how to be part of them, as well as I'm going to do like a live Q&A so you can ask any questions, and I will be happy to answer and give reflection and all of that. So if you haven't, just wrapping everything up, if you haven't already done day one, make sure you go and catch the replay. All about connecting with those inner desires, right? With where it is that you want to go, with, what lights you up. And then today is day two, really connecting with who you are, the beliefs about yourself. Because this is your power. And when you connect your power into those desires, into the things that light you up, oh my goodness, world, you better watch out, because it's going to shift and it's going to change really fast. Okay. So Yesterday's homework was 50 plus list for personal and professional ones, tapping into the top 5 that you would love to shift between now and the end of the year. And in today's is doing that 48-hour thought cleanse or thought audit, where you're just recognizing and witnessing the thoughts that you're having. And if there's any, thoughts that aren't taking you to love, joy, happiness, then you say cancel, delete, and you replace it with a positive, right? We're working on creating new neural pathways in your mind, in your body, that are going to help shift the direction that your mind takes you, so that you can start shifting how you show up, how you have conversations, the beliefs that you have, okay? And then tomorrow is a very special VIP day 3, and I would love to have you all there and for you to join me, ask questions, and gain support, learn how you can dive deeper into this material and really start to transform your lives. Because if you are ready to leap into the next space, into beyond where you are now, this is how you're going to get there. And it's so much easier when you are with someone, you have accountability and you have that roadmap on how to do this, right? The road to self-discovery does not have to be an individual journey. You don't have to run into the walls trying to figure it out. My mentor, Bob Proctor, who I guide all my clients through his material, he had studied this for over 65 years, and he guided so many people to their freedom, and hundreds of thousands of people lives have been transformed by this material. And I am so blessed and grateful to be a guide in guiding others through this material. So meet me same place tomorrow, same time. And I look forward to connecting with all of you in my messages, as well as reading your ahas and comments in the video. And I just want you to have an amazing day. Expect abundance, and I look forward to hearing your comments and everything, and seeing your posts in the community on your experience with the homework that you have done yesterday and today, and the growth that you're having. All right, my friends, see you tomorrow, same time, place, and expect abundance.